Dear friends in Jesus Christ, in our life we come up against various obstacles, and over time we feel that they are wearing us down and take energy away from us. Sometimes these obstacles take the form of other people who make life difficult for us for one reason or another. The result of getting discouraged can be to put less of ourselves into life. We can become half-hearted about everything. The temptation can be understandable, but it is a temptation we need to keep on trying to resist. The parable in today's gospel puts before us a person who simply refused to get discouraged. The person in question is a widow who appears to be somewhat alone in the world. There is no mention of any children standing by her in her hour of need. She clearly believes that some great injustice has been done to her. She goes to the court looking for the justice that she is entitled to. Unfortunately, she finds herself having to deal with the worst kind of judge who neither fears God nor has any respect for others. This powerful man has no interest in the plight of this powerless woman. However, she refuses to get discouraged even though a second injustice is being done to her by the judge who should have taken up her case. She keeps coming to him day after day until she wears down the judge's resistance. She exhausts the judge into justice. The powerless widow turns out to be a very powerful after all, and the powerful judge ends up cowering before the seemingly powerless widow. The figure of the widow in the parable is a wonderful portrayal of the refusal to get discouraged, even when everything goes against us and when we come up against the worst instincts of other people. Jesus paints this picture in words of persevering widow who refuses to be discouraged because it captures the kind of faith that he is looking for from his own disciples. Having spoken the parable, Jesus asked the question, when the Son of Man comes, will he find any faith on earth? Jesus is asking when he comes back at the end of times as the glorious Son of Man, will he find faith which has the same quality of dogged perseverance that the widow displayed? Jesus is calling for a faith that endures, that stays the course, and refuses to give up even when all the supporters for faith seems to be taken away. These have been very difficult times for people of faith. A great deal has happened in our world, and particularly the temptation to discouragement. Yet, Jesus seems to be saying in today's gospel that to be a believer is to be a persistent believer. The supreme example of a persistent believer was Jesus himself. He remained faithful to the end, even to death on a cross. He was faithful to God, to the work that God gave him, which meant that he was faithful to those to whom God has sent. Jesus refused to give up on humanity even on the cross. If his life touched the lives of the few, he hoped that his death would touch the life of many. His faithfulness overcame the darkness of sin, the sin that put him on the cross. Jesus' faithfulness revealed a God who does not give up on us, who does not easily get discouraged by our failures and resistance, who keeps faith with humanity. Pope Francis says that the power of God's love is able to overcome the darkness of evil. In a similar way, the power of the widow's persistence overcame the darkness of the evil that confronted her on every side. She showed a godlike perseverance, and this is what Jesus calls for from his disciples. Yes, dear friends, in Jesus Christ, the widow in the parable overcame evil with good. Jesus on the cross overcame evil with good. Jesus calls on us to have a faith that perseveres even in the face of the evil. Such a persevering faith is made possible by prayer. The beginning of the Gospel states that the parable of the persistent widow is about the need to pray continually and never lose heart. Jesus suggests that he will find strong faith whenever there is a strong prayer. We are more likely to have persevering faith if we persevere in prayer. The example of the widow displays a persistent and courageous prayer in the face of the evil. Such prayers open up to the Lord's strength, and it is only in His strength that we can persevere in our faith, even when the temptation to discouragement is so strong.